Okay. You say what is life about? What's the meaning of life? Why do I have to face this storm? Now maybe what's the meaning of it? So you ask all these questions, and then now how can you stand the storm of life? Depending on how you build your life on. Okay, whether you build your life on the rock or you build your life on sand and all that kind of thing. So this so in the Bible it has it's a very interesting Bible verses telling us how to face the storm of life. Okay, now first of all, let us talk about in the Second Corinthians chapter 4. Now it start to mention about a man's life, how strong, how weak, and what will be the situation. Now, actually, all of us have a very weak life because we are like a vessel, like a earthly vessel. It's very easily broken. If you have a earthly vessel, okay, then you throw in the air, you fall down on the ground, you break. So, but then how will we handle all this? Now we will see because it depends on what is inside the vessel. Now, okay, now let's see here. Now this is the Bible verses we mentioned about in the Second Corinthians. Now there are several verses. They say, but we have this treasure in the jar of clay to show that this all surpassing power is from God and not from us. Now, we are a jar of clay, the clay, the earth you break easily. But inside the clay, there's a treasure in us, which is very, very precious, that can keep us strong. Now, so we are hard pressed in every sign. Now, this is when you face. I don't know whether you have it or not. Whether you experience any time that you feel your pressure all over in front, in the back, at side level. So we are pressed on every side, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not despair. Although we are pressed, that means that you are facing the storm at this time. Um, you are persecuted, you get persecuted, but you're not abandoned because you're not abandoned by God. You get persecuted, but God is with you. Not abandoned. You struck down, but you are not destroyed. We always carry around our body the death of Christ. Now, you all know that when Jesus was on earth, he was pressured on all over side and nailed on the cross and all that. Yeah, Jesus died on the cross, but he was resurrected. So, the Jesus may also reveal in our body. So we will have his resurrected body. For we who are alive are always being given over the death of Christ's sake. So that his life may be revealed in our mortal body. Now, this in Second Corinthians mentioned uh, we are our body is just an earthy vessels. The earthy vessel is very um, what I can say is easily broken. But then inside us we have this treasure which will keep us strong. Now, so this is the verses that tell us the secret of how to face the storm of life. Now, okay, now let's talk about the um, well, okay. Now, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, 22. This is talking about our life. We have Solomon when he mentioned that he talked about the meaning of life. Let's talk about Ecclesiastes. He's mentioned about what is the meaning of life. He felt that the meaning of life in the beginning is meaningless. What does a man get for all the toils and anxious striving with which he labor under the sun? So you work hard and all that. What for? The what's the meaning of it? You work hard. You face the world, but you get persecuted with the world. You are good-hearted. You want to help people, but then you get people who cheat you will try to destroy you. So what's the life for? So Solomon, and finally, he looked at the life. He said the life is meaningless. He said all these days you work in the pain and grief. Even at night you are working. His mind not rest. But 2 is meaningless. You work day and night, you work hard, but you get persecuted. You are kind to people, but people are persecuting you, cheating you, and all that. So Solomon, facing all this, he feel life is meaningless. He said, "No, what's the meaning of life? You come here, you work hard, but then you get persecuted. You're facing storm of life. So he's so why am I here? Why am I here? What's the meaning of that? Why am I here?" So Solomon is asking this question about the meaning of life. Now, but then when you look at Psalm, the Psalm said, "God is our refuge and strength, and ever present in help of trouble." Yeah, true. In our life seems to meaningless. We get persecuted from different sides. We're facing the storm of life. But there's one thing. We know that we have God. God will help us when we are facing the storm of life. You have to remember that you have God that is helping you. That's our refuge. What will you do when you're facing storm? Heavy rain, storm, and all that. You go into refuge. You go into a house, right? So you won't get wet. You won't get struck by the storm. So when you are facing storm, where's your refuge? So Psalm says God is our refuge. So whenever we face storm, you remember that storm is fierce there, try to harm you, but we have a refuge, which is God. And then in Ecclesiastes again, all his days he eats in darkness with great frustration, affliction, and anger. Then they mean to say that in Solomon also said in his days, even he eat in darkness and with frustration and all that. Even at the time of enjoyment of eating with dinner and all that is still not enjoyable because you have all this facing the storm of life and all that, so with affliction. And then again, now here it's interesting. Solomon, he mentioned that remember your creator in the days of your youth. Now, if you look at the Ecclesiastes, Solomon in the chapter 12, we said when you are young, you should enjoy it in your youth. You're the creator in your youth. Because when you get old, you get into trouble. Now, the chapter 12 Ecclesiastes is a very interesting chapter if you read it. They say, now, when you are still young, you enjoy your days, okay? Because you can still walk, you can run, you can all that. But when you get old, you get your vision, you lost your vision. You cannot see, you cannot hear, cannot sing, and all that kind of thing, So Solomon and then finally Solomon mentioned something like, "Oh, okay, I tell you what." Solomon said, why you can enjoy it, you enjoy your youth. In old age you enjoy it. But at the end he mentioned that, okay, doesn't matter what happened. When you're one of these days, when you're facing God at the last days, God you have to account for everything. Everything you do, you have to answer God's questioning. Why you do this? Why you do that? This is it's very interesting. We are talking about philosophy of life. When you're facing a storm, you're questioning what is the meaning of life? Why should I face all the storm and all that? Now then, this is what Solomon said. If you are young, you can enjoy it. But then when you get old, you will face it, you have a problem. But suddenly when we turn on and say how are we going to build our life, whether we are young or old? How do we build our life? This is very interesting. When you get to Matthew chapter 7, they say, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and put them in practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock." Now, all of a sudden, we are talking about, we are facing a lot of tribulations, a lot of storms and all that. Now, can you stand the storm? You say when you're facing the storm, you say you go into refuge. God is your refuge. But when you have facing all the storm in your life, can you stand all the storm? If you depend on how you build your life. So Matthew suddenly, in Matthew, suddenly mentioned that you can face the storm without any trouble. You can, because when you're facing the storm, God is your refuge. But besides God is your refuge, you also have to know how you build your life. If you build your life on a rock, then you can face all the storm without any trouble. Now, so they say, so when you hear this, that you have to think that you build your house on a rock. Now, of course, Matthew said you can build your house in two different places. One is a rock, which is Jesus. You build your house, you build your life upon Jesus' rock. Or you can build your life on the sand. Now, what's the difference? Because when you build your life on the sand, when the storm comes, the house will collapse, the sand will collapse, because the ground is not safe, not strong. But when you build your life on a rock, then when storm comes, there's no problem because the rock is strong. The rock will not move in storm. The rock is of course Jesus. Now, so how do you face the storm of your life? The answers. You can face the storm of your life when you build your life on rock, when you build your life on Jesus. And also God is a refuge. This is how you can face the storm, the life storm. Okay? You build our house on the rock. Okay, then of course they say, what happened when you build your house on the rock?